What's going on, family? We are officially on the journey to 1 million subscribers, and my team and I are giving away $30,000 to help you pay off your consumer debt. That's right. 3 E3 community members will each get $10,000 to wipe out their consumer debt. Now, do you want in? It's simple. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel and join my email list by going to anthonyoneal.com and clicking on the Join the Community tab. That's 100% it. Check this out. At 940,000 subscribers, we're surprising one lucky person live on my show with the first $10,000, and we're going to give that person a financial makeover before paying off their debt. So, before we get to today's show, hit that subscribe button and let's hit it 1 million strong before my birthday, July 1st. All right? Love you all. Let's get to the show. Studies are showing that home buyers are gaining leverage right now when it comes to buying homes. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not in the real estate space. This market is becoming a buyer's market and no longer a seller's market, right? There's still a high interest, but it's like if you can negotiate right,
yes,
you can really get into a sweet deal.
Absolutely.
So here's my question. One, is that true? And two, but I still got to pay a daggone 6.6% interest rate? So how's this a buyer's market if the interest rate is still at a goddamn high rate?
Well, this is my favorite, one of my favorite topics.
Speak on.
If you were to bring me a property in 2021 when interest rate were 2%,
Okay.
if you were to bring me a property during that time frame, I would tell you just add $50,000 to that sales price. That's going to be the starting price where we start at. $50,000 with a 2% interest rate.
Right.
You got more people in the market, right? More people in the market looking for homes, looking for those deals at that 2% interest rate.
Okay.
Now.
So wait, prime example.
Yeah.
Let's do math.
Yeah.
For the basic people. They came back to you in 2021.
Yep.
That's COVID.
That's COVID time. Yep.
You got a 2.2% interest rate.
Yes.
And they came to you and said, all right, your home is worth $100,000. You're saying you're going to list it and start it at $150,000?
That buyer would have to start the sales price at $150,000.
The buyer, not the seller.
Correct.
The buyer who's looking for a home.
Yep.
Based on competition.
That is so true because that happened with me and you.
Exactly. And you got to waive everything. So you got to come out the pocket. If it appraises for, let's use easy math, that 150 number.
Right.
If it appraises at 125, you got to come out of the pocket $25,000 to cover that cost because everybody's waiving appraisal.
Yes.
Everybody's waiving inspection. So there's some repair costs that you're going to have. So it's more economical and inexpensive for buyers to be in the market right now. And they have more opportunity to negotiate, right? If they get with the right realtor, they're going to have more opportunities to negotiate because the market is soft. When people saw the 6 to 6.5% interest rate, they got nervous.
Yeah.
But this is when you really want to be buying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Even I bought a property at 7.3% interest rate for $750, but guess what? Nobody else came and appraised for $815 before I got to the closing table.
Real numbers.
Real numbers, right? I put 80 into it, now it's worth $1,050,000.
And you're 820 in it and it's worth $1 million something.
Yes.
And so, and is your game plan clearly to rent it out?
Oh, absolutely. I held it, yep. And I haven't even refinanced yet.
You have not refinanced?
Nope. I'm cash flowing. I can hold it because I got it at a sweet deal. I got the equity play going as well. So I'm getting cash flow plus equity, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I wasn't fearful. I wasn't scared to take the risk. And I looked at the opportunity as, okay, people are scared. So let me get into this market because the media started portraying home buying as fearful. And once we see that, there's a lot of opportunities that becomes open to us, quite frankly.
Let's get some practical tips. Because with this being a buyer's market, the key thing you gave me was power negotiating. What are 3 things you should negotiate in this market? So if I'm a buyer, right, and this is my first time buying, I'm a little nervous of the interest rate because I'm scared of the payment, but I want to buy. How are you all as my agent, as a single mother, who is, I make $100,000 in DC. And I can afford $5,000. I got approved by that. But I see a home that I like. What are the 3 things you're going to say, okay, we need to negotiate this?
I'll give you first quick disclaimer that in every market, it is not always a buyer's market. So there is dynamic, but in places where you have the ability to negotiate, you can really win. Thing number 1 I would recommend, seek out closing costs from the seller over price reduction.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay, wait, bro, come on back. Come on back, my guy. Okay. Closing price over what?
Closing costs.
Closing costs.
Over price reduction.
Price reduction.
So.
I got you.
Yeah.
So if the price is, breaking it down to the kindergarten level, if the price is, let's say again, $150,000, you're saying, I want you to, if we do a FHA loan, closing cost is 3.5%.
Run that, yeah.
Right? You're saying instead of asking for the home to be at 125, you want them to say, I want you to pay for all my closing costs.
Correct.
Yes.
Why is that a benefit to me?
Because the upfront costs you have outside of your down payment are pretty much sunken costs. You got to pay them either way. And the banks will allow you, cool thing with FHA, you can actually go up in some cases as high as 7% in closing costs from the seller. When we're advising clients, we say, let's get to what the net price the seller wants. That's what we negotiate around. Once I know that net price, let's work with your lender and say, how much, what's the maximum amount of closing costs that we can get to your benefit? Because once that comes to you and you only have to worry about down payment, or if you're working on one of the other programs and you don't have to worry about down payment, that extra cash from the seller can go towards rate buy down, make that interest rate lower for a fixed period of time, for the entire life of the loan. So if I'm looking at a 6.5 rate out in the world, but I get 10 bands from a seller, my 6.5 can go down to 5.5, fixed for the life of my loan. Like that, and that's cost that is not coming out of the pocket of the buyer. So I think this concept of negotiating around net price and then knowing all of the different plays that you can run once you know what that net price is so powerful. Because some people get focused and say, no, I just want the price to be lower. I just want a lower price. I want to borrow less. And you say, think about this for a second. If my debt load can be a little bit higher, if I can tolerate that and I can get all of my other upfront expenses out of pocket, I got more cash to be able to cover my moving. I got more cash to be able to do some upgrades in the house later. So that's one of the biggest things I yell at folks, Anthony, is let's talk about net price that the seller wants, and then let's play and see how we can make these numbers work to your best benefit, because you didn't have that opportunity before.
All right, fam, let's have a heart-to-heart. You all know that I'm all about helping you get your money. But let me ask you this question. How's your credit report looking? And if you're being honest and you're saying, Ayo, I need some help, well, listen, I got something for you. Listen, I know credit can feel like this big, confusing thing, but with Kickoff, it doesn't have to be. They've designed a super simple, affordable way to help you build your credit, whether you're just starting out or need to bounce back from a rough patch. Here's how it works. Kickoff reports to the major credit bureaus to help you establish a positive credit history. And you can get started for as little as $5 a month. No credit check, no crazy interest fees at all, no hidden fees, just a straightforward way to improve your financial standing. And here's why it matters the most, because it is not just about a number, it is about financial freedom and doors opening up for you. Do you want that dream apartment? Do you want lower car insurance and even better job prospects? It all starts with making sure you have a good credit profile. So don't wait. Head over to anthonyoneal.com/kickoff. That's anthonyoneal.com/KIKOFF and start your first month for just as little as $1. Listen, it's anthonyoneal.com/kickoff, KIKOFF. You get it for $1. Just get you some lower rates, especially in 2025. I have a question about that. Please go. Because y'all know me, when y'all come in, I'm just ask. Because I'm thinking for the people. I'm not thinking for Anthony. I'm thinking for the people. And correct me, right? So are you all saying that there is a possibility that I can buy a home today and honestly come to the closing table without one dime out of my pocket if I negotiate right and if I'm in a negotiable city?
Double condition, I wouldn't say not a dime. You could minimize it to as low as a few $100s, and that's real.
I got a client coming to the table in less than 30 days. I think their total cash to close was $325.
Pause. Pause.
That's real.
Pause. I'm not a real estate agent, but I know math. You have down payment.
Yep. That's one.
And you have closing costs.
That's 2 buckets. Yep, separate.
So the 3.5% that I quoted is like, that's your down payment that FHA requires.
Correct.
So if I have $150,000, FHA required that I put down 3.5% of that $150,000.
Yes.
But I got to come also on top of the 3.5% with my closing costs.
Yep.
And what you're saying is that your client, if they bought a house, rough numbers, $150,000.
Yes.
Their seller gave them enough money that helped cover the majority of their 3.5%, to be an example, and some of their closing costs, to where they only have to bring $325 of their own money to the table to be a homeowner.
Correct. Absolutely. Yes.
How is that possible, bro?
Yeah.
The hell? I'm serious.
No, 1,000%.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's crazy, and this is why it's important to, look at different options. Look at all your options, right? Mm-hmm. The first quote that we got, it had him coming to the table with $16,000, right? So we said, let's pivot. Let's see what else is out there, right? You have the Maryland Mortgage Program, which gives you 3% of the loan amount to go towards your total cash to close, right? Also, Federal Home Loan Bank just dropped a grant program that can get you up to $20,000 and a grant money. You don't have to pay back grant money, right? So you take 3% of 400,000, whatever it is, like 12,000. Mm-hmm. All right, you take another 20,000 in grant money. That's $32,000 in closing costs that's being given to you. That subsidized your total cash to close by coming to the table, and that's why he's coming to the table with $325.
And AO, this works at different price points too.
Yeah.
We talking lower? I've got some folks now that were pursuing a condo that had been on the market for a while, so we knew we had leverage to negotiate. On a $700,000 purchase price, we got $33,000 in closing costs from the seller. That actually exceeded the maximum that they were able to get. So the play we ran was we're getting about $7,000 that we're putting towards their condo fees for 3 years. They will not pay condo fees for 3 years, and all of their closing costs is covered. They only have down payment for it. Like, those are the type of things that in
that situation, where you say, what cash are they bringing to the table?
Just because they are choosing to, at that price point, they needed to put 3% down because of their credit profile. So their cash out of pocket is around $21,000. But if they weren't getting the closing costs, their cash out of pocket would exceed 43, 44. So, yeah. And they just did that to get the monthly payment where they wanted it to be.